Hello, uh, my name is Victor Ishengoma. I will be participating in the graduate category. Today I will be presenting my research on the impact of in-feed or in-water antibiotic administration on the fecal prevalence and antimicrobial susceptibility of Salmonella in piglets. A little bit on the background, antimicrobial resistance is a growing public health concern in the US and the world at large. In the US alone, it has caused more than 2.8 million infections, which have resulted to around 40,000 deaths every year. Drug-resistant salmonella has been categorized deleterious level 3 by the CDC. It has caused around 200,000 infections, which have resulted to 70 deaths every year. Salmonella as a pathogen is known to colonize a wide range of hosts, which ranges from warm to cold-blooded animals, as well as non-animal environments. Therefore, the transmission of Salmonella provides a good example of the One Health paradigm. We believe that to be able to control infections in humans, we will have to start by controlling these infections in animals as well as the environment. We had two main objectives. The first one being to assess the route of administration of chlorotetracycline and thiamine on the fecal prevalence of Salmonella, and the second one being on the antimicrobial susceptibility of Salmonella in piglets. To test our hypothesis, we conducted a randomized complete block designed study where we used around 1,300 weaned piglets, which were split into 48 pens, with each pen containing 27 pigs. Right? And then each pen was randomly assigned to one of the 6 treatment groups, which were either control in water CTC, in feed CTC, in feed thiamine, in water thiamine, and the combination of CTC and thiamine in feed. Then we collected fresh fecal samples randomly from 5 out of the 27 piglets in the pen weekly for 6 weeks. We isolated the bacteria of interest, which is Salmonella by culture method. Then we did a species confirmation by PCR. We went further to do genome sequencing to identify the serotypes. We further did antimicrobial susceptibility testing using prepared panels, and the minimal inhibitory concentration values were interpreted as either resistant or susceptible based on the clinical and laboratory standard institute guidelines for antimicrobial breakpoints. This is the table that shows the prevalence of Salmonella, where the overall prevalence of Salmonella was 4.2%. And we saw a slight large number of isolates in water thiamine, in feed thiamine, and the combination of CTC and thiamine in feed groups. But overall, there was no significant effect of treatment on the prevalence of Salmonella. This is the table that shows the antimicrobial susceptibilities of Salmonella. As we can see, all isolates were resistant to ampicillin, streptomycin, sulfixazole, tetracycline, and thiamine, and a great number was also resistant to ciprofloxacin. But we can also see all isolates were susceptible to azithromycin and cefoxtin. Now, to summarize our findings on this study, based on whole genome sequencing, all isolates were identified as Salmonella typhimurium. This is concerning as the Salmonella typhimurium has been associated with multiple outbreaks of salmonellosis in humans in the US and other countries. But again, neither antibiotic nor route of administration had a significant effect on the prevalence of Salmonella. We also saw that Salmonella isolates were susceptible to azithromycin and cefoxtin, which is a good thing, but they were all resistant at 100% to ampicillin, streptomycin, sulfixazole, and the two drugs of our interest here, which is thiamine and tetracycline. Based on this, most of these salmonella isolates were multi-drug resistant, although resistant to most of the antibiotics decreased over time. Neither chlortetracycline nor thiamine adversely affected antimicrobial resistance, which means antimicrobial resistance determinants were there even before we applied the antibiotics. Uh, and Therefore, we believe that One Health approach is a must to tackle the problem of antimicrobial resistance. I would like to acknowledge the National Park Board for funding this study. The KSU applied swine nutrition, Neil Wallace, our lab manager, the graduate and undergraduate students who assisted in conducting the study, and I would like to thank the judges for your time. Thank you.